So I'm gonna put S plus what I think is the best character in each role, right? Actually, let's just go alphabetical because then it makes it better content. So I think Adam Warlock, I think is the most underrated hero in the game. I just think like Blood Red to shut the fuck up. I think most supports in this game are like super high tier. I think supports are just ridiculously overtuned. So even though I think Adam's not one of the best supports right now, I still think he's S tier. I think Black Panther with the nerfs, I think he's like with Black Panther and the nerfs and the current meta of triple support. I think this character's kind of mediocre. I think he's like B tier. Captain America, I think this character's just straight dog shit. I think this character's just straight fucking garbo. He just runs around. He does nothing. He literally like I don't understand. I don't know. Maybe he's playable with like Thor, Captain America. I can see maybe seeing play because of the team up and shit. But like I just don't see it. I think this character is just the definition of a keck walk, run around, do nothing character. I think he's shit. And then we get Doctor Strange. I think Doctor Strange is clearly S plus. I think he's by far the best tank in the game. I think he's light years above the next tank. I think he's super mandatory to have in your team. If he's open, I think you need to play him. I don't think there's ever a situation where you're not playing him. I mean, this situation you're not playing him, but I think that like he's just like he has everything. He has really really good burst. He has really really good sustain damage. He has obviously the best utility ability in the game in his TP. He has one of the best ults in the game. He has the best shield in the game, and he has the ability to fly. Like his pull is better than like 20 to 30% of the ults in this game. Like he's just so fucking good. It's crazy. Whenever you play against a good Strange, it feels like he dictates the pace of the game so much more than any other character. Groot, I think Groot is like A tier. I think he's like situationally really good. I think he's a bit weak. There's like certain characters I think that completely fuck Groot. Like you can't play Groot into like Wolverine or like Winter Soldier. Like he just gets absolutely fucked by those characters. I think Groot is, I don't know. Like I'm not super. So like I just think he's like a good character. You know. I don't ever feel bad with Groot. Hela, it's not controversial. I still think Hela's the best DPS in the game. I think she's the best DPS character in the game still. I think she's just still. I think the nerfs didn't really do anything. The 250 HP nerf was significant, but like every other nerf I felt like hasn't changed. I think this character is just really OP. I think people don't realize how like people in this game overreact to the patches, right? They overreact to characters being buffed, being nerfed. Like she has everything, right? She has like the best sustained damage in the game. She has two iframes, one with her ult. Her ult, even when you fucking int and your ult, like even if you die, you can still get away. She is an insane anti-dive with her stun, and she has a really good team up with Loki as well. Like the team up for Loki is really powerful because Loki's well, you'll find out where I rate Loki later. So I still think that if I had to ban one DPS every game, I would just ban I would always ban Hela. Now the way my tier list works is my S plus tier is I'm going to put one for each role in the S plus tier of what I think are the best character in each role in the game. So yeah, next you have Hulk. I think Hulk's a weird one because I think like he can go like here or he can go like here because it depends on like his team up, right? Like Hulk is a permaban character, but Hulk is a permaban character exclusively because of his team up with Iron Man. But I think as an individual character, which is more what I'm rating him, I think he's very, very good. I think he's A. I think the character is good. I think the character is not super amazing, but he also just never really sees play because he gets permabanned. So I don't think I'd put him in S. I don't know. Maybe I'll put him in S. I don't know. Maybe I'll put him in S. Yeah, fine. I'll put him in S. I think he's in S. Invisible Woman is just an S tier character. She's like any support who has an ultimate that makes her entire team invulnerable for like 10 seconds, which is half the supports in this game, by the way, is going to be S tier. Like, I think that she has... I don't really understand her kit too much, but she's relatively hard to dive because she has a jump that makes her invisible. as a melee. She has a knockback and a pull-in, which is really powerful. She has a shield, which you can use on targets, especially targets in the air, can be really oppressive. And her ult is really strong as well. She's very, very powerful. So yeah, I think I don't think she's quite like the best support in the game, but I think she's very, very powerful. Right, Iron Man. Iron Man. I think he's A tier because I really think this character is good. I think that people underrate how good he is without the buff. I also think to a degree people overrate how good he is with the buff. So I think like if he didn't have the buff, I'd probably put him B tier, and if he does have the buff, he's probably S plus, or probably at least he's S. But I think overall I still think he's A because I think he's good. I think that his ult is super powerful in the current meta because of the support ult meta. It's so good to have something that can one shot through support ults. So I think the character's underrated, and I don't think you have to have Hulk to play him. I just think he has a few natural counters. Like if Hela's ever open, I don't think you could ever play Iron Man. I think it's just too bad a matchup. Next, Jeff. I think Jeff is C tier because I think this character is fucking completely garbage, except he has a good ult. So that's why I don't put him in D tier, because Captain America's ult is not that good. It's a pretty mediocre ult, and the rest of his kit's garbage. At least Jeff's ult is pretty good. It's really good, his ult, but the rest of his kit is just so dog shit. So like, I don't think I could ever play. I don't think there's ever a situation where picking Jeff is the right pick. I think he can work okay into triple support when they're grouped, but I think the character's meh. He's of the healers. I think he's one of the worst for sure. Alright, Loki. Loki is also S tier. I think this character is fucking insane. In fact, I don't know. I'm really tempted to put him S plus. Yeah. I need to do the tier list first. Let me finish the tier list, okay? I'm really torn. I think Loki, if they don't Loki's character, I think if they don't play Moon Knight, I think he's S plus. I think if they do play Moon Knight, he's S. Tier list. No, I'm finishing the tier list, guys. So I don't quite think he's S plus because I think he has a few matchups that are bad, and then I think he's also relatively easily counterable. Not super easily counterable, but like once people learn to shoot his clones, I think that the value of the character gets less. But I also think if you put your clones on high ground like little pussies, then I think it's like the character's like really good. So I mean, I think the character's base kit, he has the best base kit of all the healers in the game, and his ult is obviously like really OP as well. But I think that he's a bit counterable. Luna, I still think is the best support in the game. I still think Luna's broken. I think that I think the main thing I think that makes Luna so good, and why I think she's better than Loki, is because her orb is so OP on flankers. Whoever your best DPS player on your team is, if you put the orb on that character becomes like Jesus Christ reincarnated. If the Luna's healing well, she's really hard to kill because she has 275 HP. If she presses it, whatever is a shift or whatever the button that makes her clap, she has like insane HP regen. I just think she's just all around completely bonkers. I think that she's just like, I don't know, she just has everything, and obviously she has probably the best ult in the game. And I think she's just overall the best support in the game. I think she's the most consistent support in the game. And especially as a melee DPS, playing with a Luna on my team makes my life 10 times easier if they just orb my ass. Now Magic's like A tier. I don't quite think she's S tier. I don't really think any melee in this game can be S tier. I think melee as a role is like kind of just too easy to counter. I think in the right situation she can be really powerful. She's really good. I think that she has her strengths. She's really good at just like one-shotting a support. She's good at sticking on tanks. I think she's a high resource character. I think you need to build your entire comp around the magic. I think that you need to pocket the magic. You need to bubble the magic, etc., etc., etc. I think she's really good. I think she's one of the best melees for sure. But I don't think that she's like I don't quite think she's S tier. Magneto, I think, is S tier. I think Magneto's the second best tank in the game. I don't know if this isn't ordered, but I'm not going to order it in the tiers. Magneto is is a really, really good character. I think he also has really high potential in terms of his bubble usage. Like he enables certain characters. He can like a well placed bubble can win you a fight pretty consistently. Like if I'm 1v1ing somebody, like if I'm diving their support in the backline and midway through my combo, they bubble the support. All of a sudden, it turns me killing their support into me dying to their support from one ability. So I think that he's really powerful. He's obviously the shield tank, and his ult is really powerful in the current meta with all this like obnoxious support ult slop. Him being able to kill a cloak and dagger mid ult is really powerful. Him being able to kill Luna and Mantis and stuff, and being able to counter like a Star-Lord ult as well is really good. So I think Magnet is a really solid character. I think he's the second best tank in the game. I think behind Strange. Mantis is another easy S tier character. She has insane damage. She's so fast. She has the most brain dead, broken, easy to hit CC in the game. Her healing output is like her healing throughput's not amazing, but she has a good healing profile in terms of like being able to just toss orbs on your flankers, makes them better 1v1. The damage boost is really powerful as well in the right situations. The combo you can do where you like sleep and then you can shoot them like twice before they wake up and then shoot them again, so you can shoot them 3 times before they wake up. It's just the character's just bonkers. Her ult is really good as well. Her ult's not quite as good as the other support ults. I think of the support ults, it's probably the worst. Of like the healing support ults, I should say, it's probably the worst because you can die through it. It doesn't have that much HPS, but it's still really good. So yeah, Mr. Fantastic. This character is straight garbage, bro. I tried so long to make this character viable, but this character's just ass, bro. The problem you have in this game is that this game, if you look at most of the top tier characters, they tend to have really overpowered ultimates, right? They tend to have ultimates that have incredibly high impact, right? And Mr. Fantastic ult is without question the worst ult in the game. It is so fucking bad. It is so bad, it's insane. Even in the right situations, when you're in a tiny room and you're hopping up and down, which is like never, which for the record never happens, but even in the dream situation, it does nothing. It's so useless. And the rest of his kit, whilst it's okay, even his right click doesn't really pull targets in as much as it wants to. The only strength he really has is being able to slap his hands across people. His shift is clunky. His passive is clunky. His E needs to have separate binding for teammates and enemies. The character's just like needs so much. He's just so bad. It does do more damage the more bounces it does, but it basically the first bounce deals 50, then it goes up to like 110 damage or whatever is on the final bounce. Even if every bounce did 100 damage, it would still be bad. So yeah, this character I think is just like, I don't know. Mostly because his ult's so bad, I think that puts the character pretty shit. Alright, Goon Knight. Goon Knight I think is S tier this patch. I think Moon Knight is really good. I think that in professional play, I think this guy will be a staple pick. I think the ability to kill through support ults is insanely strong. I think that the ability to counter characters like Namor and Loki, really good. I think this character will see a lot of play. I think he already does see play in pro play. I think he's really good into the triple support meta. I think he's one of the best characters in the game in triple support meta, so I think he will see a lot of play. Namor, I actually don't think Namor's that good. I think Namor's an A tier character. I think Namor is the noob trap character. I think that this character is good, but I think he's only good into the comps he's good into. I think you can't be a Namor main. You have to pick him into the right comps, otherwise there's just characters that just get more value from him. I just don't find the character particularly. Like if you just play like range DPS into him, he doesn't really do anything. Like it's like for me personally, I find him AIDS because I play full melee. But I think outside of that, like I think people when you play Namor and you see the Namor on your team, he always has good stats. But that's because he's a stat pad character. He's a character who will get tons of assists and kills just by existing because his turrets hit one person and then your Black Panther one shots him. So like I don't actually think the character's as good as as people think he is, just because every game he has a good score because it's impossible to have a bad score in the character. Penny, I think Penny is B tier. I think she's kind of not that good. Again, she's a counter pick character. If they play tanks or if they play like melee tanks and they play melee DPS, or it's like first point defense, those sorts of situations on certain maps, she's really good. Like the Spider-Man Tokyo map with the not the one that's I don't know how to like the one that's in the city. That one like first point, you put the egg behind the little thing, really really powerful. But I think that she's a character that you basically can never actually play outside of like first point defense unless you're playing against like a full melee comp. So she's just a bit too niche. I think Rocket is I don't know. I know this character has a really high win rate, but this character. If he doesn't have a team up on his team, is like C tier, if not D tier. If he has the team up, he's like B tier. Like I'm probably gonna put him C tier actually. No, I'm gonna put him B tier. He has good healing throughput, but he has nothing else. His ult is like okay. His ult's like decent, but like his beacon, if you play against good players, can often be neutralized relatively easily. And like in my opinion, without the team up, he's just bad. I really just don't like the character. I think the character is just straight overrated. I think he's a low elo character. I just don't think he provides anywhere near as much as the other supports on this list above. Like, would I rather have an amplifier or would I rather have a Lunar Snow ult? I would rather have a Lunar Snow ult every single time. So I feel like outside of playing him with like Punisher or Winter Soldier, I just don't think the character's that good. Scarlet Witch, I think is dog shit. I think she just doesn't do anything. Like she just doesn't like outside of low elo. I just don't see what the character does. Like her save, the only thing that keeps her in any relevancy, in my opinion, is the team up with Magneto and the synergy with Magneto. But that's about it. I think the ult is way too slow, way too telegraphed. Her DPS is too low to really get kills. She's just obnoxious. She's not really strong. So yeah. Spider-Man, I think, is C tier. I think Spider-Man is okay. I think that he's just... Spider-Man, in my opinion, is a really good character in the right situations. If they don't have Lunar Snow, if they don't have Namor, and you have a Venom on your team, and they have an Iron Man on their team, or a Storm on their team, he's really good. He's really good. Right? Outside of that very specific situation, is like... He's just way too specific, and he's way too hard to play. What makes Luna good against Spidey? Mostly because the thing with Luna, the reason Luna's good into Spidey is because your main goal as Spidey is to generally, like I think the main reason you pick Spidey is you play him to counter a character like Iron Man, right? But if the Iron Man gets Luna orbed, you're basically never going to kill the Iron Man with your combo anyway. He's way too reliant on Venom. Like you have to have Venom. You have to have Venom on your team, in my opinion, to make the character even slightly playable. Because without the Venom, the one-shot combo is just not enough damage to kill. So, yeah, I just don't think the character's good. He's just way too hard to play, way too easy to counter. So, yeah, it's a shame. His ult is really good, though. That's the one thing I think that keeps him from being D tier, is his ult is really powerful. Star-Lord, I think, is S tier. I think Star-Lord is just probably the most like solid, consistent DPS character in the game. Has an insanely powerful ult, is really obnoxious, hard to deal with. If your team doesn't have a good hit scan player, he basically will just 1v9 the game, and there's not much you can do about it. He has the two iframes, so much outplay potential, just all round really fucking powerful character. I think he's just very, very, very good. I think he's hard to play. And also he has an incredibly overpowered team up with Adam Warlock. Like if you play the lineup of like Adam plus Mantis plus Star-Lord plus like a third support like a Luna, and then you play like two tanks, that comp is very, very, very hard to deal with. Because even when you pick their team, they just self-res. It's so obnoxious to play against. Alright, Storm. Chat, here comes the hot takes. I think Storm is just A tier. I think she's by far the most overrated character in the game right now. I think like the amount of people I've seen put her in like S plus tier, I just don't get it. I think this character is clinically, like she's good, but she's not that good. She has a really powerful ult, and she has a decent neutral game. But like, would I, if I had to pick on my team, would I want to play with a Storm or would I want to play with a Hela? I'd pick a Hela every day of the week. I think that she's just She is the perfect example, in my opinion, of people who overreact to buffs. People said she wasn't that bad last season and that people were playing her wrong, etc., etc., when in reality she was just shit. And I think that the buffs make her good now. Like, she's a good character, but the way she gets banned in high elo, I just don't understand it. I really don't understand it, especially with three supports being meta, countering her. Her ult builds really fast is the one thing. If you can get your ult off, she can get her ult before support ults do, and I think that the ult is really, really OP. But I just don't think. I don't know. I don't even know if she's better than Iron Man, to be honest. She's probably better than Iron Man, but like, I don't know. I think she's overrated. And a team up is. I don't know how good a team up is. We have to play Thor with a team up, so it's a bit eh. So yeah, Punisher. I think Punisher is like A tier. I think he's like probably the most like reasonable DPS. Like, he just kind of like exists. I think when he gets Rocket, it becomes really powerful. He has a really good ult. He has a really well-rounded kit. His shotgun's really, 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 really strong. I don't really think he's like OP. I don't. He's obnoxious with a shotgun, but I don't know. I think he's like whatever. I never like, oh, they have a, unless they have like a really good Punisher player and he's being pocketed. But then if that player was being pocketed on Hela instead, I'd be way more scared. So I just find the characters sometimes is, it's just like sort of like a really solid character. Thor, I think Thor is like B tier. I think he's a win more character. When you're being snowballed by a Thor, it can feel really oppressive to play against. However, I think that when the character, like, I think in neutral games, I think the character's value is just sort of like super average. I think you have to play him with another tank, and he just sort of feels like a DPS character, really. I played him a bit the other day, and I just find the character like just super, like, he just does really big damage and is annoying, but he doesn't really provide any like pressure the same way like a Strange does or a Magneto. And his ult, yeah, his ult is not good at all. Venom, I think, is probably B tier as well. I don't think the character's bad. Maybe I bump him to, I don't know. I think B tier is probably okay for him. I think if played well, I think he can be very strong. I think he gets better the higher elo you go. I think the more coordinated your team is, the better he is. 'Cause I think in terms of dive tanks, he's probably he's definitely the best dive tank in the game. However, I think he can feed a little bit. I don't think his ult is sort of meh. He's just annoying. I don't know. I think like you need to have tons of communication and all that sort of thing. So I don't know. I think the character's just sort of B tier is like pretty decent. Okay, Winter Soldier. This character's like for sure S tier. This character is absolutely disgusting. He does everything. He's so good into tanks. He's so good into melee DPS. He's so unkillable. He has such an insane high roll potential on his ult. The ability to hold your hook, and then peek around a corner, pull someone in a third-person game is so OP. I hate the character. I think the character's disgusting. He has a million HP. Like, I don't know. He's just gross. So yeah, I mean, fuck this character. I don't know why they buffed him so much. They did not need a buff. Hawkeye, I think after the nerfs is probably just like A tier. I think a good Hawkeye can still like lobby admin a bit, but I think he can be shut down pretty easily if you play well as a team. I honestly think his ult's pretty shit. I don't know. The character just feels a bit. He's annoying, but I don't think he's like OP. Like, he probably feels more OP than he actually is in the game, because like when you die to him, you just get headshot across the map. It can feel like super fucking tilting. But I don't really think the character's that OP. I'd still rather not play against him, but yeah. Psylocke, I think is S tier for sure. I think this character's just like, this character's probably like, if there was no seasonal buff, she would be the best DPS character in the game. The only reason that she's not is because Hela has a 15% damage boost. So Psylocke has everything that a flanker needs. She has pretty much the best 1v1 potential in the game. She has an insanely powerful ult when used properly. She has true invisibility. She has the overshielding on her right click. Like, and then she has like crazy, like, she's good at dealing with tanks because she gets CDR whenever she hits someone with her left clicks. She's just busted character all around. Like, she just does so much damage, and she's also very easy to play. She has a 5-star difficulty, which for the record is the biggest fake thing ever. S plus most picks. S plus picks, in my opinion, are the best character in each role. That's why I put them in their own tier. Like, these are the best characters in their role. Squirrel Girl, I think Squirrel Girl's like C tier. I don't think she's like awful, but I don't know when I'd ever really want one on the team. Her ult now is like really easy. I think once people realize you can just shoot the ult and kill it instantly, I think people like the ult is so bad because you can just shoot it. She's annoying, but she's nothing special. Hot take time, guys. I actually think Black Widow is an A tier character. I think she's the most underrated character in the whole game. I think that she's so much better than people give her credit for. I think people suck at her. I think that she is obnoxious to play against. If she has, like, I know her win rate's low, but the win rate's low because people play her wrong. I really think people play her wrong, right? I really, really, really think this character is really strong. I think her ult is really annoying. It builds really fast. And she's so hard to dive if she's played well. She has really good mobility. I think you just have to put her in the hands of someone who's actually good. I really, really, really think that Black Widow is an A tier character. I think you need to play around her. You need to build around the Widow in order for it to get value, and most people don't do that. Chat. I said this about Widowmaker. I said this about Widowmaker for years, and I was justified in every possible conceivable way. Yeah, but Kefri's a noob, though. Kefri's perspective, he's a fucking noob. So I think I really do think I really think she's underrated as fuck. I really think she's underrated. I think she's super toxic to play against. She has a one-shot combo when she gets dove, like the kick into stun into headshot. That's my hot take, guys. Iron Fist, I think, is like B tier. I think the character's a lot better than people give him credit for, but I still don't think. I still don't think he's as good as other melees. I think he's just a bit. I think the big problem that Iron Fist has is also a problem I think a lot of other melee DPS have, is that his ult is sort of mediocre and it builds really slow. And in a game where ults are so powerful, if your ult builds slow and doesn't have that much impact and gets hard countered by any support, your character is just shit. So he can be really good in the right situations. He's really sticky. He's really like obnoxious to play against. He's good at shutting down flying characters in a degree. He's a bit win more. I think if your team is winning a little bit, Iron Fist can push you over the line really hard. But I don't think the character's super special. I think Cloak and Dagger is pretty easily S tier. I don't think there's much to say. Like, the character was already pretty good last patch. I think she was they were a bit like inflated in terms of the stats. But now the ult has 4 charges. The ult's really, really, really OP. It builds so fast. Have the damage amp increase, the healing amp increase. Just overall, they have such an insanely strong kit. But I don't quite think A tier because Magneto. Yeah, well, people talk about this Magneto ult countering her shit and all that stuff. I understand what they're saying, but I think it's a little bit overstated. But yeah, I don't think she's as good as Luna because I don't think her neutral kit's as good as Luna's, right? So yeah. Last character, X-Man guy with claws. I don't know if he's quite S tier or if he's just A tier because I think he's a bit situational. I don't know. Like, he's on the borderline between S and A. I really do think this character's really obnoxious to play against, but I do think that it's a bit of a skill issue in terms of people playing against it. I think that I'm going to put him A just because the graphic looks better, okay? The graphic looks better when it's A tier. A tier? Okay, yeah, actually, that's fine. I agree. Fine. Let's move Hulk down to A tier, and let's move Wolverine up to S tier. I like that. I think this character is really toxic to play against. I do think that once people get better at playing against Wolverine, I think that his value goes down. I actually think the best pick into him is playing two tanks, and you play Magneto as your second tank, and your Magneto always walks behind your first tank, and you want to just try and face check the corner, find where he is, and then bubble the target who's been kidnapped. He's a really brain dead character. I think, I don't know, I think his ult is really, really OP is the main thing. I think his ult's one of the best DPS ults in the game. I think it's really, really strong. But he's also, I find if the enemy team plays smart and there's certain maps, I think he's just not that good. I don't know why they buffed him though. He was a really solid character. So yeah, that's my tier list.
My team is AFK. My team is so scared. My team is AFK. My team is so scared. My team is AFK. My team is so scared. My team is AFK. It's just bullshit. Hey friends, we're both friends here. Hey friends.